I know, I know, I know. Call me crazy. This weapon is horrible and you think it is pure garbage. But let me tell you that this weapon can cause an absurd amount of damage considering how fast it is and how easy it is to obtain and upgrade it. Let me show you the strongest build I've ever made in Dark Souls. So to obtain the Laito is pretty easy. On Blighttown you follow this very easy path and get it. Be careful not to fall when jumping. Totally not talking from experience. Now to improve it, just the basic stuff. Titanite shard, large titanite shard, and titanite chunk. For the real problem now, your character build. Obviously you focus on dexterity, but let's talk a little bit about your distributions other than just dexterity. I finished this build with 45 on dex, and to try to keep it balanced, it, especially for how we're gonna use this build, I kept at 20 vitality and 20 endurance. And we also gonna need 12 points of attunement, and now for the difficult part, the real extra. The rings are gonna be RTSR and Rings of Sun's Firstborn. I also use 2 spells, which means we will need 2 attunement slots, and 30 of Faith. On the attunement slots, we use Lightning Blade and the Power Within. I would say the Power Within is not mandatory if you want to use this build because you already have your RTSR, but I like to use it just for fun sometimes. Both are going to give a crazy amount of damage boost on our weapons, and the reason for RTSR is simply for fun, and the Power Within could also be used that argument. When you feel confident to fight a boss, you can use both at the same time because the Power Within should deal with the most of the challenges, no problem. So I would say the RTSR is for the people that know how to fight the bosses way better than I do. There are other ways of buffing the damage, such as the Dragon Torso, but since that is an item of Covenant, I'll save you from having to deal with it, especially since the Power Within can only be used with when it's the only buff active, but it does work with the Lightning Blade. I did that test for y'all. The NG plus is a bit different. The damage is high, but remember that almost all the bosses must be perfect wins. I'll be sharing some of the NG plus bosses that I had to fight. And of course, if you use the RTSR, it's the same scenario. Now for what you were expecting, some of the boss fights and all the path I took for this build. I don't recommend you use this build if it is the first time you're playing Dark Souls. The path I took is completely different from what you take, so it kinda ruins the first experience a bit. With that in mind, we start. I'll begin with Thief class and Firebomb, just to kill the Asylum Demon fast. Past the tutorial, we skip the Tyrus Demon since it's not in our path. Then we skip to Valley of the Drakes and go directly to Copper Demon. It is a pain in the ass to fight Copper Demon with the Butter Knife, but I'm sure you can pull it off. Get the Ember to upgrade to plus 10, then from there we unfortunately have to kill the Gaping Dragon with the Butter Knife again. And after this long ass fight, we go to Blighttown. We get the Laito and the Power Within, which is a bit of an annoying path, but we can pull it off. And from there on, how you choose to follow the path of the game is completely up to you. I just showed you the path to upgrade it, so I would say the hardest part of this build was definitely the beginning. Killing the Gaping Dragon was a pain in the ass, but everything else other than that was just fine. Now I'll show you how was some of the boss fights. Some were pretty easy, more than I expected, like the Four Kings, and some of them were Nito the Grave Lord. Alright, I hope you enjoy watching it. Have a good day, and man, leave a like and subscribe please.